Good evening and welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Ben Russell here with Hunter Pitcoff and Matt Szczypiorski. Tonight, we're here to answer some of the most frequently asked questions surrounding this upcoming NFL draft. With Trevor Lawrence penciled in to go number 1 to Jacksonville, it seems like the New York Jets hold the keys to the draft. But what should they do with the second pick?
Well, Matt, sometimes in life, relationships just don't work out. Good people on both sides here, and it just doesn't work out. It's best for people to go separate ways. That's going to be the New York Jets front office and Sam Darnold. For Sam Darnold, I think he is a fairly talented player, taken third overall for a reason, but I think a team like Washington or Chicago will be better for him, a team that's a little bit more ready to win now and not in a full rebuild like the Jets. And since the Jets aren't a full rebuild, take Zach Wilson at BYU. I think this kid's going to be an absolute stud. I don't think they want to pay Sam Darnold all that money that he's going to be due in a year or so. So take Zach Wilson and really ignite this rebuild if I was the Jets.
Hunter, I actually disagree with you. I think that the Jets should trade back, if anything, acquire more assets, acquire more trade value there. They need a full rehaul of that entire roster. They need an influx of talent there, and it starts everywhere else, not just the quarterback position. They can't just plug a guy in and expect him to be the savior there if they don't have anything else around him. That's why Sam Darnold has struggled so much in the past few years. Do I think Sam Darnold is the answer there? No, I don't, but I don't think now is the time to get a quarterback.
The Jets definitely have a tough call to make, and we'll see if they do take any calls regarding their pick. But now looking at Kyle Pitts, a lot of people believe that he could be the first skill position player off the board. Do you guys believe that?
No, I don't. I think Jamar Chase will be the first skill position player off the board. Wide receiver at LSU, he opted out last season, but he's a talented guy. I think the Dolphins take him at 3. Kyle Pitts, I could see him going 6 to the Eagles, even though the fit might not make sense on paper. Dallas Goedert is in the last year of his contract there, so that could be a possibility there at the Eagles. But I don't think he'll go inside the top 5. I think the Bengals are going to use that pick on an offensive lineman. The Falcons, I think, will take a quarterback. The Dolphins, as I said, will probably take Jamar Chase. And the Jets, who knows what they're going to do. But I think Kyle Pitts is an extremely talented player in this draft, no doubt about that. And it would be great to see him come home to Philly. He's a Philly guy. I just don't think that he'll be the first skill position player off the board.
Yeah, obviously Jamar Chase is a super talented player, probably equally as talented as Kyle Pitts. Didn't play last season, but that dude is a problem. And obviously, you do have a point that the wide receiver position is more valued than the tight end position. But you know what? I'm just going to argue with you, play some devil advocate. Why not? For Kyle Pitts, the Dolphins, maybe they make a move or something like that. Someone trades up for a quarterback. Maybe the Bengals get a little saucy with it and go, you know what? Let's say Kyle Pitts, help out Joe Burrow there. I'm not saying it's the right move. It could happen. Eagles, they do like to run a lot of 12 personnel, and it seems like Zach Ertz might not be there long term. Kyle Pitts here, he can do anything. This dude is a mismatch nightmare. I think he's like the second coming of Darren Waller, one of the best tight ends I've ever seen come out of the draft. I think that Kyle Pitts, it's possible, but I do tend to agree with you. Jamar Chase is probably going to be the first one off.
One thing is for sure, whichever team is able to get their hands on Pitts will be very lucky. Now, looking back at this year, there were a lot of talented players who opted out of playing due to the uncertainty of this past college football season. How do you guys think teams will look at the players who opted out?
Well, unless these players were just sitting there on the couch playing some 2K, maybe eating some chips or something like that, then maybe there's a problem there. But I don't think that was the case. Do you want one?
That's okay, man.
Okay, that's fine. You can do what you want.
Don't talk with your mouth full, man.
All right. Well, too bad because this is a segment and we are on a time here. But I will say, in terms of players opting out, Matt, we do a basketball podcast together. We know this. James Wiseman played 3 games at Memphis and still went 2nd overall. And then even Darius Bazley, the year before, didn't even play after high school and still went in the first round. These teams, they want talent. That's what they want. And guys like Jamar Chase, Penn Sewell, Micah Parsons here at Penn State, they did prove that they're all American talents. They already did play a season of college football, at least, if not more. So I'm not too concerned here. I think teams are going to see that, and they're going to bank on the talent because that's how the draft is.
I absolutely agree with you, Hunter. I think the guys that opted out for a reason. They were confident in their talent and in their tape. They knew what they had in their back pocket. They didn't need to play this season, and it risk injury, risk getting COVID, risk affecting themselves. But I think they will, all of those guys that you mentioned, Soul, Chase, Parsons, they'll all be top 10 picks. They knew that. That's why they opted out. I think they'll be fine.
There are a lot of potential moves that could happen in this offseason, and some of these moves could come in the draft, as some teams could be looking to move up to potentially find a franchise quarterback or another player to bolster their roster. Which teams are in the best position to possibly trade up in the upcoming draft?
Well, Hunter, a team that might surprise you, I'm going to say the New England Patriots here. It's not the Patriot way for them to trade up in the draft. We've seen that the last couple decades. But the Patriot way is just outsmarting other teams and keeping other teams on their toes. They're not going to know what the Patriots are going to do. The Patriots are going to be a wild card team in this draft, I think. I think they trade up inside the top 5 to draft a quarterback. If not, they could also swing a deal for Jimmy Garoppolo. There's been some rumors there. They've also been rumored to take Mac Jones at 15, but I don't think they want to do that. If they're going to take a quarterback in this draft, they're going to trade up to do it and get a guy.
Well, you're definitely right. I think the Patriots do need a long-term answer there. Trading up from 15 to top 5, though, that is hard. That's like what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz and what the Rams did with Jared Goff. I think they regret it a little bit, Matt. I'm just saying. But looking at the Patriots, I think they're actually just going to sign Cam Newton and at least ride out for the year. Cheap option there, and at least someone that's already won over that locker room there. So I'm going to look at the team that Cam did play for. That's the Carolina Panthers. This team clearly wants a quarterback. They've made that very, very clear. And if they miss out on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, or they don't want to wait post-draft and the Texans somehow don't trade him, I think the Panthers are a team at number 8 can trade up with the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins can slide back to that 8th spot and take one of those skill position players like we just talked about earlier. And also, look out for the San Francisco 49ers. As you know, Drake said in headlines, they know that Jimmy Garoppolo is a bad quarterback. They know that this guy is not the answer. And so I think they might also make a move, be a little bit aggressive there, and take a guy, maybe a Trey Lance or a Mac Jones.
And that'll do it here on Penn State Sports Night. Be sure to tune in for more NFL draft content as we approach the start of the draft in April. For Hunter Pitcoff and Matt Szczypiorski, I'm Ben Russell. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.